Captain Elias stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring into the endless darkness of space. Stars flickered like tiny candles in the distance, but the vast emptiness of the galaxy felt heavier than any battlefield he had ever known. The war had spread to every corner of this system. Alien empires fought over resources, colonies, and old grudges, and humans, though far from home, had been drawn into the conflict. Elias had long learned that in space, courage mattered more than numbers. His ship, the Starhawk, floated silently near the orbit of a small, dying planet. Below, smoke rose from shattered cities and crumbling colonies. The rogue faction had taken control of this world months ago, enslaving its people and using it as a base for attacks. Intelligence reports had just come in, revealing something that made Elias's chest tighten. The young daughter of Queen Lysera, the ruling queen of the Solari Alliance, had been captured by these same rebels. Elias had heard tales of the queen, her wisdom, her bravery, and the loyalty she inspired among her people. Her daughter, Princess Irina, was said to have the same fire as her mother. Now, somewhere on this forsaken planet, she was being held in a fortress that seemed impossible to breach. "Captain," came a voice from behind. It was Lieutenant Mara, his second in command. "Recon teams confirm the princess is alive but heavily guarded. The enemy's patrols are thick. A direct assault is risky." Elias didn't flinch. "Mara, sometimes there's no safe way. Sometimes the right thing is the dangerous thing. If we don't try, she may never see her mother again. Prepare the strike team. We move at dawn." Mara studied him with a mixture of respect and concern. "Captain, these are humans against thousands of alien soldiers. You know the odds." "I do," Elias said simply. "And humans are known for facing impossible odds." He smiled faintly. "Let's give them something to remember." The night before the mission, Elias walked alone through the quiet corridors of the Starhawk. He thought about why humans were different. In every battle he had fought, humans had survived not because of superior numbers or weapons, but because they refused to give up. They improvised, adapted, and kept hope alive. And now, that hope needed to reach a small alien girl. By morning, the Starhawk descended silently through the planet's atmosphere. The strike team, a mix of humans skilled in combat, stealth, and technology, was ready. They moved like shadows, slipping past enemy scanners and patrols. Elias led the team, heart steady, eyes sharp. The fortress was worse than he had imagined. Massive walls of black metal surrounded a central tower, where Princess Irina was believed to be held. Watchtowers dotted the perimeter, and armored guards patrolled every path. Even from a distance, the fortress radiated danger. "Captain, the entrance is blocked by energy shields," Mara whispered through the communicator. "We'll need to find another way in." Elias scanned the walls. "There," he pointed to a small service hatch near the back. "It's risky, but it's our best shot." As the team approached, Elias felt a flicker of uncertainty, not for himself, but for the girl they were about to rescue. He had seen fear in the eyes of humans during battle, but this was different. A child far from her home in enemy hands. The thought of failure pushed him forward. The hatch creaked open and the team slipped inside. The corridors were narrow, dimly lit, and lined with surveillance cameras. Elias signaled for silence. Every step they took echoed like thunder in the silence. Hours seemed to pass as they navigated the fortress. The human team moved with quiet efficiency, disabling alarms, avoiding patrols, and hacking doors. Elias' mind was focused on one thing: the princess. He imagined her alone, scared, and hoping someone would come for her. He wouldn't let her down. Finally, they reached the holding area. 2 guards stood outside armed with pulse rifles. Elias counted them silently. 2, he whispered. "Mara, you take left. I'll take right." On my mark, in a swift move, they struck. The guards went down silently, unconscious but alive. Elias pried open the door. Inside, a small figure sat huddled in the corner. Princess Irina's eyes were wide, her blue skin pale under the harsh lights. She looked like a fragile bird trapped in a cage. Elias knelt slowly, keeping his hands visible. "Princess Irina," he said gently. "I'm Captain Elias. I'm here to take you home." Irina flinched, her hands clenching in fear. Who are you?" she asked, voice trembling. "I'm human," Elias said softly. "I've come to rescue you. You're safe now, but we must move quickly." Her eyes widened. Humans had always been a distant curiosity to her, creatures she had only heard about in stories. Now one was kneeling in front of her, offering safety. Slowly she rose, trusting him, if only a little. As they prepared to leave, alarms blared. The fortress had detected their presence. Elias cursed under his breath. "Move!" he shouted. The team surged forward, carrying the princess. Enemy soldiers appeared at the end of the hallway, weapons ready. The humans fought with precision. Pulses of energy flashed through the corridor. But they moved strategically, using the narrow space to their advantage. Elias used every trick he knew, throwing objects to create distractions, activating emergency shutters, and guiding Arena to cover. Amid the chaos, Arena watched Elias, his calm under fire. His quick thinking and his courage amazed her. She had never seen a human up close, let alone one risking his life for her. Slowly, her fear transformed into trust. Finally, they reached the exit. The service hatch opened to a steep slope leading to the landing zone. Behind them, reinforcements were coming. Elias didn't hesitate. He grabbed Arena's hand. "Run!" he yelled. The team descended quickly. Explosions shook the ground behind them as enemy forces tried to stop their escape. Elias's heart pounded, not with fear for himself, but with concern for the girl. Every step they took was dangerous, but humans had a way of surviving impossible situations. They reached the shuttle just as enemy energy beams scorched the air around them. Mara piloted the craft expertly, dodging attacks with sharp maneuvers. Elias held Arena close, whispering encouragement. "Almost there, Princess. Just a little further." The shuttle lifted off, leaving the fortress behind. Explosions lit up the surface as the enemy watched helplessly. Elias exhaled slowly. The immediate danger was over, but the galaxy was still full of threats. The rogue faction wouldn't let this go easily. Arena, trembling but safe, looked at Elias. You saved me," she said softly. Elias nodded. "We're not done yet. I will bring you back to your mother. She's waiting and she needs you." For the first time since her capture, Arena allowed herself to hope. She didn't know this human well, but she sensed something special. Humans were fearless, creative, and compassionate in ways she had never understood. This one human had changed her world in a single day. As the shuttle disappeared into the dark expanse of space, Elias gazed at the stars ahead. The journey was far from over. The galaxy was dangerous, the rogue faction would come after them, and countless challenges awaited. But humans had a way of facing the impossible, and Captain Elias was determined to see this mission through. Somewhere in the vastness of the war-torn galaxy, the bond between a human and an alien princess had begun. It was a bond that would change not just their lives, but the fate of the Solari Alliance itself. And as the shuttle sped through the void, one thing was certain: humans never gave up, no matter how dark the galaxy seemed. The shuttle trembled as it raced through the upper atmosphere of the planet. Enemy ships had been alerted to the escape, and their pursuit was relentless. Captain Elias gripped the controls alongside Lieutenant Mara, his mind sharp and focused. Every decision now could mean life or death for Princess Arena, and failure was not an option. "Shields at 70%, Mara said, eyes scanning the warning panels. "They're closing in fast. I don't think we can outrun them in open space." Elias didn't respond immediately. He looked at Arena, who sat quietly in the corner of the shuttle, her eyes wide with fear but filled with trust. He felt a surge of determination. "We don't need to outrun them," he said finally. "We need to outsmart them. Humans have a way of doing that." Mara raised an eyebrow. "You mean crash into asteroids and hope for the best?" Elias gave a faint smile. "Something like that. Follow my lead." The shuttle banked sharply, dodging a volley of enemy fire. Outside, the sky was a deadly ballet of light and metal. Elias guided the craft toward a dense asteroid field. "Stay close," he instructed the team. "The rocks will hide us if we move fast enough." Arena clutched the edge of her seat, her small hands trembling. "Will they catch us?" she asked in a soft voice. Elias glanced at her. "Not if we stay smart and stay together. You're safe with us." His calm tone carried more than words. It carried the promise of protection. The shuttle weaved through jagged asteroids, the enemy ships struggling to follow. Human ingenuity showed in every maneuver. Elias used the gravitational pull of larger asteroids to swing the shuttle in impossible angles. leaving the pursuers momentarily behind. "Captain," Mara shouted. "They're regrouping. More ships are coming from the other side of the field." Elias didn't flinch. "Then we split their focus, we divide and confuse them." He activated the shuttle's stealth system. A thin veil of energy bent light around the ship, making it almost invisible. The human team had prepared for this. This technology was risky, draining the shuttle's power quickly, but it was worth it to keep the princess safe. Irina's eyes widened as she watched the enemy ship searching blindly. You can hide like that?" she whispered. Elias nodded. "Humans are good at surprises." The shuttle emerged on the other side of the asteroid field, but the danger was far from over. One massive enemy cruiser appeared, larger and more powerful than anything Elias had faced before. Its weapons locked onto the shuttle instantly, and the hull shuddered under the force of the first blast. "Brace for impact," Elias shouted. The shuttle shook violently, alarms blaring. Irina screamed, and Elias held onto the control console, steadying both the craft and his courage. Mara quickly fired back with precision lasers. The cruiser's shields absorbed the first few blasts, but human tactics were never about brute force. Elias guided the shuttle in sharp loops, dodging incoming fire, while Mara used the asteroid belt as cover to launch surprise attacks. Irina's fear turned into awe. She had never seen such skill, such courage. Humans were unpredictable, and that unpredictability made them dangerous. Elias was proof of that. Finally, the cruiser's shields weakened. Mara fired a concentrated energy pulse, striking the cruiser's engine. It exploded in a burst of fire, sending debris spinning into space. Elias didn't pause. "Now, full speed to the extraction point," he commanded. The team cheered quietly, but there was no time for celebration. More enemy ships were still in pursuit. Elias used every trick he knew: sudden dives, hidden gravitational pulls, and unexpected twists through narrow asteroid gaps. The humans moved as one, coordinated, fearless, and determined. Hours passed. The shuttle dodged, weaved, and outmaneuvered wave after wave of enemy forces. Irina, exhausted and trembling, finally asked, "Captain, why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Elias glanced at her. "Because it's the right thing to do. Humans fight not just for themselves, but for those who cannot fight. You're innocent, and no one deserves to be hurt for the mistakes of others." She thought about this. In her life, humans had always seemed distant, almost stories in books. Now she realized that humans had a courage unlike any other species she had met. Courage and kindness could exist together, and Elias was proof. The shuttle finally neared a hidden space station. It was a small, human-operated outpost, camouflaged within a gas giant's rings. Only humans knew it existed, and it was the safest place for the princess. "Almost there," Elias said, relief in his voice. "We're almost safe." But safety never came easily. Just as they approached the docking bay, an enemy scout ship emerged from the shadows. Elias cursed under his breath. "Mara, evasive maneuvers, we can't let them follow us inside." The shuttle danced through the narrow space lanes, twisting and turning with precision. Irina held on tightly, feeling the force of each sudden move. Her trust in Elias grew with every second. She realized that humans did not only rely on strength, they relied on cleverness, teamwork, and the courage to act when it mattered most. Finally, the shuttle entered the space station. Docking clamps secured them safely, and the alarms outside slowly faded. The team exhaled collectively, but Elias's focus did not waver. The mission was far from over. Princess Irina was safe for now, but she needed to be reunited with her mother, and the rogue faction was still out there. The humans helped Irina disembark from the shuttle. She looked around at the station, small, cozy, and safe compared to the fortress she had just escaped. For the first time in weeks, she felt a glimmer of hope. Elias knelt to her level. "We're not finished yet. Your mother is waiting. She needs to see you, and we're going to make sure that happens." Irina nodded, her small hands clutching his. I want to see her." Her voice trembled with emotion, but she smiled faintly. Humans were strange creatures, she thought, fearless, clever, and full of surprising kindness. Over the next few hours, Elias coordinated with the Human Intelligence Network. They planned a route to the Solari Alliance's capital, far from the rogue faction's reach. The journey would be dangerous, but with careful planning, they could avoid patrols, ambushes, and traps. Elias explained each step to Irina, giving her small responsibilities so she felt involved, not just protected. As night fell on the station, Irina lay in a small bunk, exhausted but safe. Elias sat nearby, cleaning his weapons and reviewing the route again. He thought about the Queen, her missing daughter, and the vast galaxy that seemed determined to keep them apart. Yet Elias had faced impossible odds before. Humans never gave up. In the quiet of the station, he whispered to himself, "One way or another, we will get her home." The next morning, the team prepared for departure. The shuttle was repaired and reinforced. Supplies were stocked, weapons checked, and every plan reviewed twice. Elias briefed the team. "The next leg is long and dangerous. The rogue faction knows we exist. We will travel through uncharted space and we must stay alert at all times. But we will succeed. Humans never give up, and neither will we." Irina watched him, admiration in her eyes. The human who had saved her life was more than just a soldier. He was a protector, a guide, and a symbol of hope. For the first time, she truly believed that she would see her mother again. As the shuttle lifted off the station and into the dark expanse of space, Elias felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. The galaxy was unforgiving, but humans had a way of thriving in impossible situations. He thought about all the battles fought, all the lives lost, and all the victories won against overwhelming odds. Now it was not just about survival. It was about hope, courage, and the bond between species that might never have understood one another before. Elias was determined to see Princess Irina safely to her mother, no matter what dangers awaited them in the cold, vast galaxy. Somewhere far away, Queen Lysera waited, unaware that a human soldier had already crossed worlds to bring her daughter back. In the moments to come, the galaxy would witness human ingenuity, courage, and compassion shine brighter than any weapon or starship. And so, with engines humming and the stars stretching endlessly ahead, Elias guided the shuttle into the unknown, carrying not just a princess, but the promise of a future where humans could make a difference across the galaxy. The shuttle glided through the void of space, the blackness stretching endlessly in every direction. Stars shone like diamonds, but the beauty of the cosmos did little to ease the tension inside the craft. Captain Elias sat at the helm, his hands steady on the controls, eyes scanning the radar for any sign of pursuit. Princess Irina sat beside him, gripping the edge of her seat, her small body tense with both fear and awe. Behind them, a warning flashed. Enemy ships had picked up their trail again. The rogue faction was relentless. Their fleet was faster, larger, and heavily armed. Elias knew they could not face them head-on. Humans had never relied solely on force. They relied on wit, creativity, and adaptability. Today, those qualities would be their only hope. "Captain," Mara said, her voice calm but urgent, "they've split into 2 squadrons. One is chasing us, the other is moving ahead to block our path to the Solari system." Elias nodded. "Good, that makes it simpler. They divide, we conquer. Or more accurately, we escape." He allowed a small grin. "Humans have a funny way of turning danger into opportunity." Irina's wide eyes turned toward him. "You really think we can get past them?" Elias looked at her, his face serious. "I know we can. Humans survive when the odds are against them, and we never give up." The shuttle began weaving through an asteroid belt. Rocks and debris tumbled silently in space, creating a natural maze. The enemy ships followed, but their size made them clumsy. Elias guided the shuttle through narrow passages, slipping between asteroids like a shadow. Each movement was precise, calculated, and daring. "Captain, they're adapting," Mara warned. "They're matching our maneuvers." Elias didn't flinch. "Then we changed the game. Prepare for sudden jumps through the gravity wells. Hold on tight." The shuttle dove toward a massive asteroid, using its gravity to swing around in a sharp arc. Enemy ships struggled to follow, some colliding with smaller debris. Explosions lit up the void as rocks shattered against their hulls. Irina gasped, clutching her seat. "You're amazing," she whispered. Elias smiled faintly. "We humans have a few tricks." He glanced at her. "But this isn't a game. Stay alert." Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the alarm signaling enemy proximity. Elias calculated every move, predicting the enemy's reactions before they even made them. Mara managed the weapons and defenses, firing precise bursts when necessary. Together they moved like a well-trained unit, humans and technology in perfect harmony. Suddenly the shuttle shook violently. A massive ship emerged from behind a nearby nebula. Its weapons locked onto the craft and energy beams streaked through space, narrowly missing the shuttle. "Brace for impact," Elias shouted, gripping the controls. The shuttle spun and dove, avoiding the first wave of fire. Mara fired back with precision, striking the enemy's engines. Sparks and smoke drifted through space as the larger ship faltered. Irina held onto the console, her heart pounding. "Will they catch us?" she asked, her voice trembling. Elias looked at her, eyes sharp but gentle. "Not if we stay smart and move fast. Humans always find a way." He guided the shuttle through a field of gas clouds. The clouds distorted sensors, making it almost impossible for the enemy to track them. Mara adjusted the shields, letting the energy beams dissipate harmlessly into the clouds. Human ingenuity once again turned the odds in their favor. "Captain, there's a nebula up ahead," Mara said. "It's unstable, but it could hide us." Elias nodded. "Good, we'll risk it. Full speed ahead." The shuttle entered the swirling gas. Visibility dropped to almost nothing, the colors of the nebula dancing around them. Enemy ships hesitated, scanning cautiously. Elias maneuvered expertly, twisting and turning through the thick clouds. The engines strained, but humans had a way of surviving machinery stress with quick thinking and precise adjustments. Inside the shuttle, Irina's fear slowly gave way to wonder. She had never seen anything like this. Stars, rocks, and colorful gases swirling around them, all while a human captain guided them through danger with skill and courage. She realized humans were not only strong and brave, but also clever in ways she had never imagined. Suddenly, the shuttle shook violently. An enemy ship had emerged from the nebula, firing at close range. Elias reacted instantly, diving the shuttle behind a massive gas formation. Energy beams hit the clouds, causing brief flashes of light. Mara returned fire, striking the enemy ship's propulsion system. It wobbled uncontrollably, giving them a small advantage. "Good work," Elias said. "Keep it up. We're not out of danger yet." Irina watched in amazement. "You never panic," she said softly. Elias glanced at her, a faint smile on his face. "Humans panic sometimes," he admitted. "But we learn to act anyway. That's what matters. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting despite it." Hours turned into a tense journey. The enemy ships were relentless, but human creativity and determination kept them one step ahead. Elias used every natural and artificial obstacle, from asteroid fields to gravitational anomalies, to outmaneuver their pursuers. Each move was risky, but humans had a talent for turning risks into opportunities. Finally, the Solari system came into view. Its beautiful planets and sparkling moons offered a glimmer of hope. But the rogue faction had anticipated their route. A squadron of enemy ships blocked the main path. Elias assessed the situation quickly. "Too many to fight directly," he said. "We need a diversion. Mara, deploy the decoys." Mara activated small, unmanned drones that emitted false signals, drawing enemy fire away from the shuttle. Elias took advantage of the distraction, guiding the shuttle through a narrow route between two massive moons. The enemy ships fired relentlessly, but the decoys fooled most of their sensors. Irina gripped the seat tightly, her eyes wide. "We're going to make it, aren't we?" she asked. Elias looked at her, calm and certain. "We will. Humans never give up, and neither will we." The shuttle finally slipped past the enemy blockade. The crew let out quiet sighs of relief, but Elias remained alert. The journey was not yet over. The rogue faction would regroup, and the galaxy was still full of danger. But they had survived the chase across the stars, and Princess Irina was one step closer to her mother. As the shuttle moved toward the Solari capital, Elias took a moment to reflect. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy for courage, ingenuity, and resilience. Today he had proven that once again. But more than that, he had seen the hope in Irina's eyes, the belief that she would see her mother again. That hope was fragile, but humans were experts at protecting the fragile and the innocent. Irina, sitting quietly beside him, finally spoke. "Captain, Why do you care so much about me? You don't even know me. Elias glanced at her, his expression softening. Because it's the right thing to do. Every life matters. Humans fight for others, not just for themselves, and you are worth saving. She looked at him, awe and admiration in her eyes. She had never met a human like this. So brave, so clever, and so kind. She realized that humans were capable of greatness beyond anything her people had imagined. The shuttle entered the outer reaches of the Solari system. The capital planet shimmered like a jewel in the distance, its cities alive with light. Elias guided the craft carefully, knowing that the rogue faction might still attempt a final attack. Every maneuver was precise, every decision critical. Finally, the shuttle landed safely in a hidden docking bay. Human engineers and allies awaited, ready to receive the princess and prepare for the final leg of her journey. Irina stepped out of the shuttle, looking around at the safe haven. Relief washed over her. But she knew the hardest part was still ahead, being reunited with her mother. Elias knelt to her level, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. We're safe for now, but your mother is waiting. Soon you will see her and everything will be all right. Irina nodded, a small smile forming on her lips. For the first time since her capture, she felt real hope. Humans were strange creatures, fearless, clever, and full of unexpected kindness. Elias had proven that in one day, and she would never forget it. The stars outside the docking bay shimmered with possibilities. The galaxy was dangerous, but humans had a way of facing impossible odds. And now, one human had changed the life of a small alien princess forever. As the team prepared for the journey to the Solari capital, Elias felt a quiet determination. The rogue faction was still out there, the galaxy was still at war, but hope had been restored. And humans, with their courage, intelligence, and compassion, had a way of turning hope into reality. The journey was far from over. But Elias and his team had proven one thing. Humans could face any danger and survive, even when the odds seemed impossible. And somewhere far away, Queen Lysra waited, unaware that a human soldier had already crossed the stars to bring her daughter home. Soon their reunion would begin, and the galaxy would witness the true power of human courage and determination. The shuttle descended slowly toward the capital planet of the Solari Alliance. Its shimmering cities glowed with silver and blue light, reflecting the brilliance of the twin suns above. From orbit, the capital looked peaceful, almost untouched by the galaxy's chaos. But Elias knew better. The rogue faction could strike at any moment, and the reunion of a queen and her daughter would attract attention. Princess Irina sat quietly beside Elias, her small hands folded in her lap. She stared out at the planet below, a mixture of hope and fear in her eyes. Do you think Mother will forgive me for being gone so long? She asked softly. Elias glanced at her. Your mother loves you. She's worried, yes, but she will be overjoyed to see you again. You are her daughter and nothing can change that. Irina nodded, though she fidgeted nervously. The past weeks had been terrifying. Captivity, constant danger, and the uncertainty of whether anyone would come for her. Now hope shone brightly. She had survived, thanks to this human who had risked everything for her. And soon she would be home. The shuttle touched down in a secure landing bay. Humans and Solari guards awaited, ready to escort Irina safely to the palace. Elias helped her step out, offering his hand as she took her first cautious steps on the solid ground. The palace loomed ahead, a grand structure of silver spires and crystal windows, radiating authority and beauty. Queen Lysra waited inside, surrounded by her advisors and guards. But her eyes were fixed on the entrance, scanning for her daughter. When Irina walked through the palace doors, Lysra's eyes widened. Time seemed to slow as mother and daughter locked eyes. Irina ran, her small feet carrying her across the polished floors. Lysra dropped to her knees, arms outstretched, tears welling in her eyes. Irina, Lysra cried, her voice trembling. My child, you're safe. You're here. Irina threw herself into her mother's arms, tears flowing freely. Mother, I missed you. I was so scared, she sobbed. Lysra held her tightly, rocking her gently. The Queen's advisors watched silently, understanding that this moment was more than a reunion. It was a testament to hope and survival. Even in a galaxy filled with conflict, love and courage could endure. Elias remained just outside the embrace, quietly observing. He felt a sense of accomplishment, but he also knew his role was far from over. The rogue faction was still active, and the safety of the princess depended on careful planning and vigilance. One of the Queen's advisors approached cautiously. "Your Majesty," he said, "who is this human? How did he find the princess?" Lysira pulled back slightly, looking at Elias with a mix of gratitude and awe.
"He is Captain Elias," she said.
"He crossed the stars, faced impossible danger, and brought my daughter back to me. Human, they are extraordinary." Elias stepped forward, bowing respectfully. "Your Majesty," he said simply, "it was my duty, but also my honor. Princess Irina's safety was worth every risk." Lysira studied him, her eyes filled with admiration. "You are brave, clever, and compassionate," she said. "Humans may be distant in this galaxy, but your actions show the true strength of your kind." "I will not forget this." Irina peeked out from her mother's arms. "Captain Elias." "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved me. I don't know how to thank you enough." Elias smiled faintly. "No thanks needed, Princess. Seeing you safe is enough." The Queen gestured for her advisors to step back. She wanted this moment to be private yet meaningful. "Elias," she said, "humans are often underestimated. But today you have shown courage, intelligence, and heart. You remind me that hope is not bound by species. It is born in those who act when others cannot." Irina watched the exchange, her admiration for Elias growing. He was no ordinary soldier. He was a hero. And she realized something important. Humans were capable of extraordinary deeds even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. The reunion, however, was not without tension. Some advisors and guards were cautious. "Your Majesty," one spoke carefully, "how can we trust a human? How do we know this is not a trick?" Lysira's eyes hardened. "I trust him because he risked his life for my daughter," she said firmly. "Actions speak louder than words. Elias has proven himself beyond question. He is an ally, and his courage has saved more than one life today." Elias nodded respectfully. "Your Majesty is wise," he said. "The galaxy is dangerous, but working together, humans and Solari can protect each other." The Queen's gaze softened as she looked at her daughter. Irina had grown stronger through her ordeal, and the bond between mother and child was unbroken. "Irina," Lysira whispered, "you are safe now. Never again will I let anyone take you from me." Irina clung to her mother, tears still streaming. I was so scared, Mother. But Captain Elias, he saved me." Lysira turned to Elias, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You have my eternal thanks," she said. "Not just from me, but from all the Solari who live because of your courage. You have done something that no one else could." Elias shook his head. "It was not just me, Your Majesty. The team and I acted together, but I am honored to have played a part." The princess, now calmer, finally looked at Elias with a small smile. "You're amazing," she said softly. I will never forget you." Elias felt a warmth in his chest. This was why humans did what they did. Because saving lives, protecting the innocent, and giving hope mattered more than anything. And now, he had done that for a princess in a galaxy far from Earth. Lysira guided her daughter to a more private chamber, allowing them to speak freely and recover from the trauma of separation. Elias remained outside, giving them space but staying alert. He knew the rogue faction would not give up so easily. Safety was temporary, and preparation was necessary. Inside the chamber, mother and daughter embraced fully. Irina recounted her time in captivity, the fear, the loneliness, and the hopeless moments. Lysira listened, tears flowing, her heart aching for the suffering her child endured. Yet through it all there was relief. Her daughter was alive. She had survived. "We will ensure this never happens again," Lysira said firmly. "I promise you, Irina, the galaxy will protect you and I will protect you." Irina nodded, feeling the safety of her mother's presence. She realized how brave humans were and how one human, Captain Elias, had changed the course of her life. Without him, she might still be trapped, lost, or worse. Elias, outside the chamber, reviewed intelligence reports and maps. The rogue faction was still active, but their movements were predictable now. With careful strategy, the Queen's forces could secure the capital and protect both Irina and the people of the Solari Alliance. When Lysira finally emerged, her gaze met Elias once more. "You will join us," she said firmly. "Humans like you are needed in this galaxy. Your courage, your intelligence, your heart. These are qualities we must honor, not question." Elias inclined his head. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I am happy to help in any way I can." Irina ran to Elias, hugging him tightly. "Thank you again," she whispered. You are my hero, Elias patted her back gently. And you, Princess, are my inspiration. Humans fight for hope, and today you reminded me why it matters. The Queen guided them to the palace balcony. The city stretched below, a shining testament to civilization and resilience. Humans had traveled across the galaxy to bring back one child, and in doing so they had shown the galaxy the value of courage and compassion. Lysera looked at Elias, her expression firm but grateful. The Solari Alliance owes you a debt that cannot be repaid with words alone. You have brought hope where there was despair, safety where there was danger, and life where there was fear. You have my respect, my gratitude, and my trust. Elias nodded silently, understanding the weight of her words. In a galaxy filled with war and conflict, moments like this, moments of reunion, trust, and hope, were rare. They were worth every risk, every challenge, and every danger faced. Irina stood beside her mother, her small hand in Elias's. She realized that humans were not just strong, they were clever, compassionate, and capable of incredible courage. And one human soldier had changed her life forever. As the sun set over the shining city, casting golden light across the palace, Elias gazed at the horizon. He knew the rogue faction would return. That danger was never far away, but for now the mission was a success. Mother and daughter were reunited, and the galaxy had witnessed the extraordinary bravery of a human soldier. And in that moment, among the tears and the joy, one truth shone brighter than any star. Humans could make a difference. Even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, the capital of the Solari Alliance was alive with activity. Citizens lined the streets, celebrating the safe return of Princess Irina. Banners fluttered in the wind, silver and blue symbols of hope waving proudly. Word of her rescue had spread quickly, and the people understood the magnitude of what had happened. One human soldier had crossed galaxies, faced unimaginable danger, and brought their princess home. Captain Elias stood quietly in the palace courtyard, observing the celebrations. The Solari guards had escorted him and his team to a place of honor, but Elias remained humble. His thoughts were not on accolades or recognition. His thoughts were on the mission, on Irina's safety, and on the promise of a brighter future. Princess Irina ran to him, her face bright with joy. "Captain Elias," she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around his waist. "I am home, and it's all because of you." Elias knelt to meet her eyes. "No, Princess. It was not just me. The team helped, and so did your courage. You never gave up, even when it was hard. Humans fight for hope, and today you showed why hope is worth fighting for." Irina smiled, her admiration for Elias clear. "You're my hero. You saved my life, and now I can be with Mother again. But I will never forget you." Lysera approached, her regal presence commanding attention even among the cheering citizens. She looked at Elias, her expression both proud and grateful. "Captain Elias," she said, her voice calm but strong, "you have done more than rescue my daughter. You have reminded this galaxy what courage, loyalty, and honor truly mean. Humans are indeed extraordinary." Elias bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, it was my duty. But I am honored to have played a part in bringing Princess Irina back to you." The Queen studied him carefully, considering more than just words. A human soldier has crossed galaxies to bring life and hope where there was only despair. That act cannot be ignored. You have earned a place among allies, not just as a visitor, but as a trusted friend. Irina clutched her mother's hand, her eyes shining with pride and joy. "Captain Elias, will you stay with us? Please?" she asked softly. Elias smiled faintly. "I will remain as long as I am needed," he said. "Humans are far from your home, but if I can help protect it, I will." The Queen nodded. "Then it is decided. You will be honored in the Council, Captain. Your actions have not only saved a child but strengthened bonds between worlds. Humans and Solari may yet find unity, and today marks the beginning of that alliance." Word spread quickly through the capital. The council convened in the Grand Hall, a majestic chamber filled with crystal lights and shimmering panels. Elias, Irina, and Lysera entered together, the citizens watching in awe. The council members bowed in respect, acknowledging the courage of the human who had dared the impossible. "Captain Elias," one elder council member said, "your deeds will be remembered for generations. You have shown that one life, one act of bravery, can change the course of the galaxy. How do you wish to be honored?" Elias shook his head. "I ask for no reward, no title. I only ask that Princess Arena is safe and that the Solari Alliance prospers. Humans are proud to aid those who fight for justice." Lysera placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Your humility is a testament to your character. Yet, the galaxy should not forget what you have done. You will be awarded the highest honor of the Solari Alliance not for glory, but so that your courage may inspire all who hear of it." The council members nodded in agreement. Medals and honors were prepared, shimmering with alien design yet carrying the weight of immense recognition. When presented to Elias, he accepted them with quiet pride, aware that the true reward was far greater, the knowledge that Arena was safe and the Queen's trust was earned. Later, as the sun set over the city, the princess and her mother walked beside Elias through the palace gardens. The flowers glowed softly under the twin suns, their colors vibrant against the gentle evening sky. Arena skipped ahead, laughter spilling like music. "Captain Elias," she said, turning to him, "I want to learn about humans, about Earth, about courage, about how you survive impossible situations." Elias chuckled lightly. "It's simple, Princess. Humans survive because we never give up, even when hope seems lost. Courage is not about not being afraid. It is about moving forward despite fear. And compassion, that is what makes us strong, not weapons or numbers." Arena listened intently, her eyes wide with curiosity. "I want to be brave like that," she said softly. "You already are," Elias replied. "Surviving captivity, trusting someone who could have failed. You have shown bravery that most adults cannot imagine. Humans may be clever and strong, but you are remarkable." Lysera joined them, her arm around her daughter. "You see, Captain Elias, bravery is not bound by species. Humans, Solari, and all beings capable of hope and courage can achieve greatness together. Today proves that." As the evening deepened, celebrations continued across the capital. Citizens sang songs of hope, told stories of the rescue, and honored the human who had risked everything. Children looked to the stars, dreaming of heroes who could cross galaxies to save those in need. Elias walked quietly through the crowd, observing the reactions. He realized that humans had a unique role in the galaxy. Their courage, ingenuity, and determination could change destinies, unite civilizations, and inspire hope even in the darkest times. Arena tugged at his sleeve. "Captain Elias, will you tell me stories of your adventures? About humans and the galaxy?" Elias smiled. "I will. And perhaps one day, you will have adventures of your own. But remember, the most important courage is in protecting others, showing kindness and never giving up. That is what changes the galaxy." The Queen, seeing the bond between her daughter and Elias, smiled. "You have not only saved Arena's life, but strengthened the bonds between our worlds. Today, humans and Solari have learned to trust one another, and that trust may shape the future of the galaxy." As the night settled, Elias looked up at the stars, feeling the weight of the galaxy and the hope he carried. He had faced impossible odds, outsmarted deadly enemies, and risked his life for another species. Yet he felt no pride, only a quiet satisfaction in knowing that courage and compassion had triumphed. Arena, now asleep in her mother's arms, had a small smile on her face. She had survived, and she had been reunited with her mother. She had seen human courage firsthand and had learned that even in the vast, dangerous galaxy, hope could shine brightly. Lysera looked at Elias with gratitude. "You have changed not only my daughter's life but the fate of the Solari Alliance. Humans are indeed extraordinary. I hope this is only the beginning of our friendship." Elias nodded. "It is. Humans may be far from here, but we will always fight for justice, for hope, and for those who cannot fight alone." The celebration continued into the night, but in the quiet moments Elias felt the truth of his mission. Across the galaxy, civilizations were at war, yet acts of courage, compassion, and trust could unite worlds. Humans had a role to play, and this was just the beginning. In the coming days, the Solari Alliance would fortify their defenses, prepare for future challenges, and honor the heroes who had risked everything. But Elias knew the most important thing was already achieved. Princess Irina was safe. The Queen was reunited with her daughter, and hope had returned to the galaxy. As he gazed at the stars once more, Elias realized that humans were not just survivors. They were catalysts for change. Their bravery could cross galaxies, their compassion could heal wounds, and their determination could inspire generations. And somewhere far beyond the reaches of the capital, the rogue faction plotted their next move. But for now, hope had won. Courage had prevailed. And one human soldier had proven that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, heroes could make a difference. The princess slept peacefully, the Queen held her close, and Elias watched over them silently. He had brought life, joy, and hope back into a world that had known only fear. And in that moment, he understood something essential. Humans could change the galaxy, one act of courage at a time. The stars shone brighter that night as if celebrating the triumph of bravery, loyalty, and love. And in the hearts of the Solari, and in the heart of a small alien princess, the memory of Captain Elias would remain forever, a human who had crossed the stars to reunite a family and restore hope to a galaxy.